This is Barcode, a cocktail-powered podcast that dives deep into the technology, personalities, criminals, and heroes that have come to define modern security across the globe. I'm Chris Glandon. Join me at the bar for an amazing story. We're here at Chestnut Hill College in Philadelphia for the second annual WiCys Career Fair, where Barcode has been invited to podcast live, speak to organizations that are here representing, and to job candidates that are here representing themselves that may be in the search for a career in cybersecurity. And we'll be speaking with both of them tonight to get their input on the event, and we'll also talk to them about, qualities and skills that are needed when getting into the cybersecurity field. Okay, thanks for stopping by Barcode. If you don't mind, please introduce yourself and who you're here representing.
Hi, I'm Pam King. I'm with Chestnut Hill College, and I am a faculty member and director of the cybersecurity program in the undergraduate and graduate schools.
Excellent. Thanks for stopping by, Pam.
Very happy to do so.
Fantastic facility here. My first time here, so thank you for hosting.
Lovely college, that's true.
Yes, very lovely college. Tell me a little bit about the cybersecurity program here and how long that's been in effect and what you guys offer.
Well, we started the undergraduate degree in cybersecurity in 2015. Prior to that, we had started a digital forensics undergraduate degree in 2011, and they were both really successful. And then we built on that success by creating a graduate program in cybersecurity. We made the graduate program 100% online and accelerated, so people who were interested in getting a master's in cybersecurity could get through the program a little more quickly, and also completely online, so it would be convenient.
Awesome. And tonight, you guys are partnering with WiCys to hold this career event. Tell me about your affiliation with WiCys.
Well, this was really interesting. We were at a Secure World event, and two of the women that are part of this WiCys group tonight had come up to our table and said, hey, do you want to help us start a Delaware Valley chapter of Women in Cybersecurity? And we're like, that sounds fun. So they had their first meeting here at the college, and there was only maybe 18 to 20 of us. And it's just taken off from there. So when they said, could they host a career event? And we're getting near the end of the semesters. We have students who need entry-level jobs because they're graduating, and we have students that are looking for internships. So we're like, oh, please have your event here. And they did an amazing job. The turnout here is great, and the vendors have been wonderful. They're doing headshots, they're doing resume reviews, they're doing mock interviews. I mean, it could not be a better experience for the students.
Absolutely. I completely agree, and I sense that you're noticing some students of the college visiting some of the tables, and have you got any feedback yet from any of the students?
Yeah, I've got feedback from the companies at the tables saying how impressed they were with the students, and then I've had students coming up to me saying they've got a bead on an internship or maybe a job, and so they're really excited. I even saw a couple students in business suits, and I didn't barely recognize them because I've never seen them outside of athletic wear before. So they really put maximum effort into this, and I'm just couldn't be prouder. They're doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, well, thank you again. And before you run, I know you're busy. Talk to me about where our listeners can find out more about Chestnut Hill College and the cybersecurity program.
Well, the easiest thing to do would be just go to our website. It's www.chc.edu. Our graduate school and our undergraduate school programs are all listed there. They can just search for cybersecurity and it'll come right up. If anybody's interested in emailing me, I'm at kingp at chc.edu.
Okay. Well, Pam, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by.
It was great talking to you.
Yep, you as well. So, first, just introduce yourself and tell me, are you Are you a job seeker? Are you representing an organization? I guess why did you come to this event here?
Okay, hi. I'm Alex Pickenich. I am a current job seeker. I just graduated in May of 2023, and I've been on the job hunt for almost a year now, and I've been really struggling with getting a lot of rejections, not being able to get my foot in and get some experience.
Gotcha. Are you pursuing a career in cybersecurity specifically?
I double majored in computer science and data science and minored in cybersecurity, so within the realm of those three, I would pursue a position, but my passion was data science, so I'm looking to hopefully connect data science and cybersecurity.
Yeah, there's definitely a connection there, especially more today than there really ever has been. So you mentioned your job search has been challenging thus far. What are some challenges that you've encountered over the past year that has made it, particularly difficult?
Some challenges that I face are putting my resume through where there's hundreds of thousands of applicants, and I know that my resume isn't gonna shine through, especially not knowing someone and talking to a lot of people. Now that I started networking more, they always say it's not what you know, it's who you know. So with knowing no one that can really give me the experience that I need to gain, that's where I'm struggling, and that's where other people are getting positions because they know someone.
What factors do you think an organization should have within their culture or their environment that would be something that you get excited about?
Some things I would look forward to is being a part of a team that we can all work together, and I will have mentors while I'm learning so that I am always learning and can keep growing within the team.
Yeah, that's super important.
Yeah.
Super important. And then I guess what would make you less likely to accept a position?
That's a tough question. I guess it's tricky because there aren't a lot of entry-level positions, and the ones that are out there, they're not remote in bad locations. And like I said, that's where I'm struggling, because with the limited entry-level positions, there's always the bad flip side of I gotta go to a bad location and I have to move there, and then I won't get paid enough to even support myself to live alone.
Yeah, that's true. And then you have to make that decision on if that's a trade-off that you want to take or not. So, all right. So, as a job seeker, where do you turn for guidance and support? I mean, you're here tonight, so that's definitely a plus. Yeah. But have you, throughout your job search, had a mentor, a career coach, a recruiter, anybody else that was able to help you in your career journey?
Yeah, originally I was looking towards my Mount St. Mary's alumni who have been in my degree and where I am now and have excelled, so I've been looking at them. But now that I'm at WiCys and everyone's now connecting me and going to Secure World, I met so many new people, and I'm just going to try to continue networking until hopefully there's an entry-level position that works for me and the company.
Well, thanks for stopping by the podcast station, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, Manasa.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you for stopping by Barcode.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about yourself and who you're representing here at the WiCys Career Fair.
Yeah. My name is Manasa Pisipati. I am a second-year grad student at the College of IST in Penn State University Park. I'm also the president of Women in Cybersecurity Student Chapter at Penn State University Park. We're a very new chapter. We just started last year, so fall 2023 was our first active semester, and then this semester we've been able to get more membership and do some events, activities. So I'm here trying to get some sponsorship, corporate sponsorship, corporate partnerships, also to see if people are interested to participate in speaker sessions or maybe hold workshops, because we've been able to do a couple of those and they've been very helpful to our student members. So, yeah.
Nice. And so, yeah, talk to me a little bit about that program at Penn State.
We're a very small community of about 10, 12 members right now. And the idea is to be able to provide a community to the women in cybersecurity. The ratio of female students in our college is very skewed.
Okay.
So, for example, in my class, it's just 2 of us females.
Okay.
So the main idea is to be able to, number one, provide a community of females, and number two, to be able to provide opportunities for women to advance in their careers.
Gotcha.
It could be through internships, it could be through upskilling, and also through full-time jobs. So we've been able to do a speaker session, a workshop, and then some professional development courses. The idea is to be able to introduce students to different verticals of cybersecurity. So we did something on threat intelligence, we've done something on offensive security, and we look forward to doing more events like this, but also to be able to expand, have students travel to conferences. We also traveled to the WiCys conference 2 weeks ago, by the way.
Nice.
That was incredible. It was my first experience at a WiCys conference, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we want to be able to help them travel to conferences, and then maybe even provide some discounts for certifications, just anything that students need in terms of cybersecurity. We want to be able to provide that for them.
That's so awesome. So this is, I guess, specific to Penn State students, correct?
Yes, and,
okay.
and Penn State University Park students.
Okay. And then if there's any potential sponsors out there that may be listening, how could they get in touch with you?
I would say we have a website, WiCys University Park website. They could reach out to me, Manasa Pisipati, on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Or the current president, who is C.R. Divekar, on LinkedIn. Or they could also reach out to the secretary who is on the board of the WiCys Delaware Valley affiliate, Monica. So they can reach out to her. So yeah, we've been in touch, and they can get to us through her.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Take care.
You too.
All right. So welcome to Barcode. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Yvonne Brown, and I'm so excited to be here today at the cybersecurity event here at Chestnut Hill in Philadelphia. And I'm actually here today because it's timely, because I'm looking to transition into the cybersecurity field. I've been in the project management space for so long, and I'm just looking to network and to see what companies I can talk to see how I can transition into cybersecurity.
Very good. Tell me about what made you pinpoint cybersecurity as your next move.
I've always been up for a challenge, first of all, and I heard that it is a good field to get into if you want to do something different. And I do know, as you know, with how technology is continuing to advance, cybersecurity is not going anywhere.
Right.
So for me, it is the next challenge for me, but it's also the opportunity to find something a little bit more stable and not have to worry about, am I next to be on the chopping block from layoff?
Yeah. Now you were doing project management. Did you ever cross paths with security teams or security related projects?
Yeah, so at my former company, financial banking industry, some of our projects we did have to deal with security issues like vulnerabilities and scans of that nature. So I have some similarities as it relates to like terms and process for those things, but not in depth knowledge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it helps to have heard the terminology. So how has your job search experience been so far? What has been the most challenging aspect of your pursuit, or have you found it to be pretty easy?
No, it's not easy at all. It's been very tiring, actually. But what I know is that I've leveraged my network, which has been very supportive. So, and I make sure that I'm intentional about how I spend my time each day when I'm looking for a job. And I'm just not sitting at a computer every day when I'm looking for a job. So I'm picking up the phone, I'm texting, I'm attending events like this. Because I believe, FaceTime is good as well, speaking to people just to see, how I can immerse myself into this field. And because for me, I don't have any background in it, it's even more important that I get out here into events like this, if they're virtual or on site, just to see what I can learn.
Yeah, and have you found that to be very helpful? Have you been able to network more and
So actually, this is my first on-site cybersecurity event. Someone who I was networking with, Power Your Network, she actually shared this event with me. And so I was like, I definitely have to come. But prior to that, I was doing more virtual events. And I was attending those just to see what that world was like and what are the opportunities that I could possibly go into cyberspace. Because as you know, there's a lot of different avenues and a lot of different lanes.
Yeah.
In cyber.
Do you know what lane you want to get into?
So I'm possibly considering GRC.
Okay.
Only because in speaking with people who are currently in cyber, they say because I have that project management background, I could potentially leverage the compliance pieces, the process improvement pieces, the oversight pieces of, the skill set that I bring from the project management land over to GRC. So that's where I'm hoping to land first. And
Okay.
then from there, I'll see what other possibilities there are.
Yeah.
Because I'm not heavily technical, even though I've worked with technical teams. But as it relates to the cyberspace, I have no knowledge with the techniques there.
Have you been able to identify some good areas to train for that GRC lane, or is that part of your networking strategy?
No, that's a part of my networking strategy. I actually just reached out to, what's the name of the organization? I know it's through CareerLink PA.
Okay.
They actually have a workforce advisor grant program where they have partnerships with certain schools.
Oh, okay.
They'll give me the grant and I could go for free.
That's awesome.
And at least learn the essentials, right? And then there's some other courses that come with that, and they'll give me a certificate. So I am looking into that currently.
Yeah, that's good.
So far, everyone I've kind of reached out to, looking cybersecurity, whether they're on the heavy security side or they're in the process side, they've been very super helpful. It's just a matter of what strategy I can use to get my foot in the door.
No, I hear you. When you're looking personally at an organization, what's one thing that you're like would make them stand out from the other organizations that you're applying to?
They put people first. For me, I think that's important. Understanding that we're not robots. I would like to have that work-life balance. What it means to me is I'm not available all the time.
Yeah.
I need to shut off. I need to reset. I need to recoup and then come back the next day fresh. So that, to me, is very important. And a culture that believes in support, especially as a new person coming on board, making sure they have training, they have some type of mentorship program, they have some type of what do they call it?
Like
center or center of practice that I can lean into for people who are SMEs within that area that I can get support in. So it's a host of things, but those are the top ones. And flexibility too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If I need to come to the office, I feel that should be my choice.
Yeah.
If I feel like I can be remote, that should be my choice. So I don't want to be forced in that. I want to have the opportunity to be flexible. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I do realize that sometimes with coming into cybersecurity, I may have to go on site for certain things, and I'm okay with that, but I want it to be a trust.
Yeah. Thank you so much for stopping by. How can maybe potential hiring managers listening to this get in touch with you if they would like to have a conversation?
Sure, thank you. So I'm reachable by email and LinkedIn, Yvonne Brown on LinkedIn. I'm sorry, I don't remember the full URL. Or my email is yvonnebrown09@gmail.com. So that's YVONNEBROWN09@gmail.com.
Thank you so much for stopping by, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks for having me.
So welcome to Barcode. Thanks for stopping by.
It's an honor.
Please introduce yourself to our listeners.
So my name's Jessica Sylvester. I'm a Risk and Cybersecurity Division Lead for Tech Systems. Tech Systems, if you're not familiar, is an IT staffing and professional services company, and I am going on my 8th year with them. So I'm customer facing, and I support our clients in the Northeast region and help them solve problems in security as well as procure really great talent because our recruiters are awesome. Our local recruiting office is in Conshohocken, sits about 200 recruiters.
Okay.
And so we are here to offer services such as, recruitment services, helping with resumes, mock interviews, and things like that for students and people who are in the job market looking for a new opportunity.
Very good. And I know there are a good amount of individuals here seeking a career in cybersecurity.
Yes.
And I'm sure you see that filtered through tech systems as well. Talk to me a little bit about when you receive an applicant or a resume, what to you helps you filter out the qualified candidates from the unqualified?
Yeah. So kind of being in this industry a while, when I look at a resume, just in general, we're not talking about for a particular position, there are certain things that I look for as green flags, and there are certain things that I look for as red flags. I'll start with the good first.
Okay.
Green flags would be things like repeat assignments. If you've worked for a company, you're a contractor, you've worked somewhere, and then a few years later you go back and work for that same company again, that means you did a good job. They wouldn't have brought you back if you didn't do a good job the first time. The other thing that I like to see in a resume is I don't want to see just a list of products and tools. I want you to expand upon your experience. A lot of people think there's this one-page resume rule. It's a fake rule.
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah.
If you cannot speak to it in length and give a tangible example of something that you've done, just take it off your resume. A lot of times what we see is people will put a tool or product because it's in their environment, but they themselves haven't actually worked with it. And that's how you back yourself into a corner in an interview really quickly. Obviously, large gaps in employment can be a red flag, but that really just depends, right? Especially, there's been a lot of companies over the last year or two that have gone through different rounds of layoffs. But, if it's multiple years, it's going to be challenging to find you a new opportunity. What else? There's a lot of consulting companies out there, right? The Accentures, the Protivities, where you're working on as a consultant, but you have various end customers.
Yes.
So this will be a pointer for a lot of people out there. When I see a resume or their own LLC, right? Someone's consulting through their own LLC, which is fine. But if you have a time frame of 4 years that you've been working for Accenture or your LLC, and there's just a myriad of bullet points, I want to know who your end customers were. Some of that is confidential. I understand that. But sometimes a manager will look, if they don't recognize the company name, your resume is getting tossed in the garbage. So instead of having, XYZ LLC, security consultant, whatever to present, and then just a list of all your skills, I recommend people do it by projects. So Accenture security consultant, end customer, Comcast, project, multi-factor authentication, and what your part in it was. If the average hiring manager, this is backed by Gartner, I'm not making this up, looks at a resume for 40 seconds, tops.
Wow.
So think about that, right?
Yeah.
You want them to see reputable companies. So that's just a little piece of advice that I've been giving out a lot more lately, because we're seeing more and more people that are coming from consulting backgrounds.
So what's an ideal length for a resume? You said the one pager is no more, right?
Yes,
so
that is not a rule.
That's a myth. So
what I tell people, especially if you've been in the industry a while, the typical rule of thumb, unless you've been with the same company for a very long time and you want to show what jobs you had before that, if it's beyond 10 years, you can leave it off. Or what I say is don't leave it off, but you don't have to put the list of bullet points. Just list the company, the date range, and what your title was. And then if an employer wants to know what you did at that company, they're going to ask you that in an interview. But, if you're someone who, which is very common in IT and especially in security, has had, 5, 6, 7 different jobs in the last 10 years because you're a contractor, because you are a government contractor. Some people prefer contracting because maybe they don't require the benefits. I say if it's beyond 10 years and now we're looking at your 8th or 9th assignment, you could probably remove it, because employers are really only looking for their position what more recent and relevant experience you're going to have.
Yeah, and you also hear about resume SEO now too. Have you seen candidates, and you mentioned this earlier, with basically just putting, if you use a tool or you put that on a resume because that might get
putting
caught.
stuff in white writing? so that they pull it up in the system that scans for buzzwords.
But then when you sit down with the hiring manager,
they don't
it's
have
not
that
there.
experience. There's some of that is more of a hiring problem than a candidate problem. This is going to be a hot take. That's why having a recruiter is so important, right? Because when you submit a job application online, I don't think any of us are strangers to this.
Yeah.
It could be weeks before you hear anything.
Yeah.
And the reason is because it goes into a CRM system.
Right.
It sits there, and then guess who's screening it to see if you're a good fit?
HR.
Exactly. When's the last time HR was in cybersecurity?
Right. Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So when you're working with a recruiter, we typically aren't in the business of working with HR unless there's full-time hiring needs that they're bringing us in on. We're working directly with the managers.
Okay.
So when you think about it that way, it's like you want to get your resume directly into the hands of the manager.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to worry about someone screening your resume simply looking for 2 different buzzwords, and if they don't see it, you're out, when really you probably have the experience that they need. They're just looking for very, very specific certifications or buzzwords. So having a recruiter that's selling directly, or account manager, what I do, right? I sell my candidates on the behalf of their recruiters.
Okay.
To market their experience, that is a completely different interaction.
Yeah.
When I'm telling you, hey, here's a candidate, you're looking for someone who has, X amount of years with sim engineering. In their last role at X company, here's what they did. And I'm talking the manager through their experience as they're skimming the resume, as they're looking at the reference that we provided. And guess what? If he doesn't have the opportunity to say, I don't see the buzzword, because I'm the one selling the candidate over.
Yeah.
So I have to be convicted around that. And I typically am. I won't submit a candidate unless I know that I'm convicted that they're the right fit for the position.
Well, how has your security knowledge evolved over the years? Because now you have to get to know the candidate.
Yes.
You have to be that BS detector.
Yes.
Right? Because you don't want to go to the organization and send them a bad candidate.
And I have to be an expert in my customers.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. The number one frustration and the biggest challenge that I'm up against, because, there are a lot of salespeople and account managers in the tech industry, is like, you don't understand my business. So the biggest thing is understanding my customer's environment, right? What are they trying to accomplish? What do they care about? What's the team culture like? In order for this person to be successful day one, what past experience do they need to have? Yeah. Not a list of, certificate. No, what do they need to be able to tactically do, and what do you want to see proven experience of prior? But definitely, I recruited for a little over a year, and then I moved into the role that I'm in now on the customer facing side in 2018. And I kind of cringe sometimes when I think back. Even the girl who probably cold called you back in 2018, I'm like, whoa, I wonder what she sounded like.
I'm sure I could find an email.
Oh, for
Still
sure.
in my email box.
And our system has everything from forever. But no, it's definitely a passion of mine. It's something that helps in any field to gain knowledge are events like this, right? Networking is everything.
Yeah.
The quickest way I learned was through people like yourself, by talking to them and just being really intellectually curious.
Yeah.
And what do you do? And how is that important to the bigger picture of what your company's trying to accomplish? One of my favorite questions to ask.
Yeah, and I try to enforce that even to the job seekers here, is that this industry is so welcoming. They're so willing to help anyone that's getting into the industry.
Yes.
So don't hesitate to ask questions.
Yes.
And I think that's resonating. They if they're not doing it, they're starting to do it and see that.
Yes.
And so I can't, stress enough to come to a network event and speak to you guys.
Right. And the pandemic in 2020 took away a lot of that for a while, right? Everyone was remote, events were all virtual, and even my job, right? I used to spend 90% of my time on the road, on the customer site, and we've gotten back to that. But it's definitely been a challenge in recent years to make connections when everything has become so virtual. So that would be like my number one piece of advice in this industry. If you don't want to get stuck in the cycle of waiting weeks and weeks and weeks to hear back about a job application, like, get out there, get a recruiter, go to networking events, go to conferences, and build relationships. Because even we at Tax Systems, we're 8 times more likely to place somebody if they've come from a referral than if we recruited them ourselves. So the proof is in the data, let's call it, not the pudding.
Well, Jess, thanks for stopping by. For those that are listening that would like to get in touch with you or Tech Systems to possibly help them, how can they do that?
So LinkedIn is the best way to connect with me. Jessica Sylvester, like Stallone or the cat. That's how you can find me on LinkedIn. And then you can also just shoot me an email, jsylvest@techsystems.com.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Welcome to Barcode. Thanks for stopping by. Would you mind introducing yourself and who you're here representing?
Sure. My name is Emily Nunez, and I am currently a product owner with Leidos. So I really focus on product design and delivery, speaking with the stakeholders, getting the requirements set, and making sure that the development teams stay on track.
Okay.
I am looking to maybe make a pivot in my career. I'm most interested in blockchain and crypto. So that's really what brought me here today. I just wanted to really check out the market and see what these companies were like. And there was one in particular that I really like called Risk 360.
Mm-hmm.
I was very intrigued by what they had to offer, and I will definitely be applying.
Nice. And so as you're networking with people here, what is some good advice that you've been given tonight?
Some really good advice I was given would be to get a Security Plus certification, just to really understand how the nodes connect with each other, how they communicate, how a system can be penetrated. So, yeah, I would say that was pretty valuable because I definitely came in here like a fish out of water, not really knowing what I was getting into.
Yeah. Are you interested in going more into the technology side, or being more of a technical practitioner? Or I guess, because you want to make sure, I guess, when you're at these events that you're seeking out, some of the right mentors that you may want to work with, or getting some of the right information, or are you just trying to get an overall general idea of things, and then that would help you pivot to wherever you want to go?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to go into a more technical position.
Okay.
My long-term goal is to have my own startup. So I want to, and it will be heavily involved in cybersecurity. So I definitely need to understand this and how to implement this, so I can really build what it is I want to build.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, don't tell us what you want to build, because I don't want anyone stealing.
They're going to steal it. And
right.
I'm not there yet. I'm not ready.
No.
So
don't say a word. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. It was great meeting you. If anyone here listening and would like to reach out to you, how can they do that?
My LinkedIn is Emily Rose, Nunez. My email address is emileenrose@gmail.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was great meeting you, and good luck with your job search.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Okay, sir. Thank you for stopping by Barcode.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Can you please introduce yourself and who you're here representing?
Yeah, so my name is Tyler Yeager. I'm representing ARC Technology Consultants. We're based out of Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. We're essentially an IT cloud services firm helping organizations with, well, a lot of things, but essentially their IT needs.
Nice, man. Well, thanks for coming to the event tonight. You've been walking around talking to some job seekers, right? What's the overall feedback so far?
I think for me, what I hear is the job market's still tough. It's tough for people to... There's a lot of people going after the same position.
Okay.
And it's hard for people to stick out and get the opportunity. I still feel like it's a crowded market per se.
Yeah.
So my connections, the people I'm interacting with, is more like on the leadership level side of things, not necessarily the C-suite, but your directors, your managers, your supervisors, stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's still very competitive.
That seems to be where it's really competitive.
Okay. So tell me about your company. What do you guys do, and what type of positions do you guys hire for?
Yeah, so I mean, essentially we're a consulting firm and driven by projects. So I would say individuals that are looking for the cloud architect type of roles, system engineers, consulting type of roles, they need to be keeping an eye out for ARC. Because as we get more projects, as opportunities come, that's how we're going to continue to expand. We do have a help desk as well, which is another great opportunity for if you entry-level positions. So help desk analysts, we're always looking to obviously strengthen that. So that's another way to kind of keep an eye out to see what we got going on there.
Yeah, let me ask you this then. If someone getting into cyber is looking at getting into consulting, is that something that you would recommend? Or is that something that you feel they should have more experience in down the road to be able to help consult on different levels?
Yeah, so I'm going to give a long answer on this one. So here's what I've seen, right? You have a lot of entry-level people, they start out in the help desk, which is a really good starting point. And then they have a decision to make. They say, which direction do I want to go? Do I want to focus more on cybersecurity, or do I want to go more system admin, system engineer, that type of role, right? The ones that then go towards like the cybersecurity side really start enhancing those skills to become like a SOC analyst and whatnot. And they also leverage what they learned during the help desk to be able to kind of get onto that next building block. Now, to go to like from a consulting standpoint, our company, I wouldn't necessarily say is like security consultants. We partner with a company that handles like 24/7 SOC. And so companies can outsource their SOC operations to this partner. But we don't necessarily get into like the whole advising aspect from like security.
For folks that are listening to this that would like to find out more about you or your company, where can they hit you up at?
Yeah, so I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. You should search Tyler Yeager, Yeager spelled Y-E-A-G-E-R. Really active on LinkedIn. Send me a connection, send me a note, we'll connect. And then website is arctci.com. And yeah, you can send a connection form through there.
Cool, man. Are you based specifically in the Philly area?
So our office is in Bluebell. I live up near the Harrisburg Central PA Arena, but down here at least once a week between networking events, client visits, whatnot.
Cool, man. I see you everywhere, man, so you're not hard to find, I'll tell you that.
Just go on LinkedIn, you'll find me.
All right, Tyler, thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Chris.
Welcome to Barcode. Please introduce yourself and who you're representing here.
My name's Keith McMenamin. I represent Visit Philadelphia and the Philly Tech Council.
All right. So thanks for stopping by, Keith. I see you over there in the corner. You're reviewing resumes, correct?
Yes.
So tell me how that's going.
Went well. There's a lot of good young talent in this area. A lot of people hungry for work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what's the verdict on, the way that resumes should look versus what you're seeing without naming names?
All right, so here's one for you. Maybe because I'm becoming an old man, the font. Tiny font, no tiny font.
No tiny font.
No tiny font.
Yeah.
That was my biggest pet peeve, was the very small font that made it very hard to read.
So that could be because of the myth that I've just heard tonight about the one-page resume. Everyone's trying to fit a resume on one page, and maybe that's the reason for the small font, but I hear that's a myth. You should not do just a one-page resume.
I don't know. That's not my area of expertise. I was kind of more looking for grammatical, easy to identify flaws. Where I can help people clean up, and wordiness too. I felt that an area, maybe condense it and take some of those words to further elaborate a point if somebody asks you a question.
Now, are you performing the mock interviews as well, or just resume review?
A little bit of both, depending on what the person wanted.
Okay. Keith, how can the listeners here track you down, get a hold of you on social media, email, and where are you appearing next?
Probably LinkedIn. Name is Keith McMenamin, McMenamin. You can follow the Philly Tech Council on Instagram. Where am I next? I just wrapped up a busy April. Our Secure World speeches. I was at the Barnes last week. I think I'm off until June. I'm building a conference at 401 North Broad Street, June 5th. AI themed, but all aspects of technology. I'm trying to get all aspects of technology to unite under one roof for one day. So I'm going to have programming for everybody. So
nice.
Yeah, check that out.
Keith, thanks for stopping by, man. It was great seeing you again. And go rest up.
You're the man, Chris.
All right, thanks for stopping by Barcode. Please introduce yourself and who you're representing here.
Well, Well, first, I appreciate being on the Late Show. I think this is typically when the whiskey comes out.
This is where goes sideways.
That's
man.
fine. We'll go as sideways as you want to go. So, name's Dave Birdwell, talent architect in Philadelphia. However, recently I've taken over the nation for a company called Sony, headquartered in New York, but I run our Philadelphia chapter, and as I just mentioned, the nation.
Nice, man. Well, what do you think of the event so far?
Event's been great, honestly. There's a lot of good energy. The headshots, I think, is a nice touch, particularly for folks that are just entering the workforce or looking to rebrand themselves. That's something you typically don't see at events.
Yeah.
That's a really nice touch. Crowd is, here's the deal. Dirty secret, Women in Cyber put on the best events.
Yeah.
Like, the crowd is always good. It's lively. I always walk away with some sort of new connection, which is really critical, particularly for new people to, hey, get out of your comfort shell. There's a lot of folks in IT that aren't always great with networking, getting outside of what they do day to day, which is, usually very singularly focused, right? They're very tactical on what they do in terms of practitioners, and kind of stepping back and realizing there's a whole community outside of what their day job looks like, I think is encouraging.
Yeah.
And when you come to these events, you always meet someone new that's probably going through the same struggle that you're going through in your day-to-day job, and not thought share, I think is really difficult to duplicate, particularly over distance. So getting it face-to-face with people, I think, is really hard to duplicate, and Women in Cyber brings together some of the best people in our local area.
Very true, man. Tell me about Sony. Tell me about what you do there.
For sure. Sony Resources, our tagline's fastest growing privately held staffing firm in the country. We have 4 unique divisions. Professional services, so think of that as the office of CHRO down to generalists. We have our creative division, so chief marketing officer down to potentially graphic designer, right? We have our tech division, which I run, so CIO to CTO down to your entry level IT help desk folks, right? And then we have our finance and accounting practice, so office of the CFO down to potentially someone that's just getting in financial services and entering the industry.
Nice, man. So let me ask you this. I'm positive that you get to see a lot of resumes coming in.
I do, yeah.
You have to filter the noise there in terms of who you need to contact to fill certain roles. So from your perspective, how challenging is it to do that? And can you talk a little bit about the methodology that you use to do that?
So AI has entered everything these days. And COVID kind of broke the mold. So we've got a confluence of things that are entering the human capital market that we haven't seen before at an accelerated rate. AI is taking resumes and duping them to match Boolean searches like we've never seen before. So we've got countermeasures now that are finding these resumes that are frankly fabricated in every sense, right? And we can pick them up pretty regularly. So that's one thing that we've seen. The second thing is folks working multiple jobs.
So hold on real quick. So it's basically AI versus AI at this point.
It is, yeah. So it's who's going to build a better, faster version of AI
to detect AI resumes.
Correct. So folks are saying, here's what I've done, right? Putting that into sort of a large language model, conversational chatbot, and saying, hey, build this, tweak this, right? How do I take what I've done and elaborate that so that I show up on multiple searches instead of just populate our 1 or 2, right? So that's the end game, particularly if you're looking at remote jobs. How do I just get my resume in front of 15,000 hiring managers instead of 500? Right? So I understand the need, particularly because there's such a need in cybersecurity development, right? Those two are remaining the top, and they're not going to go away for a long time. So I understand the need to do it. However, if you really drill down, it's fake. It's not that you're taking what someone has done and you're embellishing it so that you simply show up on more searches. Then you sit down with someone like yourself and you say, okay, Chris, walk me through. And you're like, well, we did that. It's like, well, what did you do as an individual contributor in that spot? Well, frankly, not. Well, why do you have that technology listed? Well, I touched it. My company bought the license for it, but I don't really practice in it. Like that's
you get exposed quick.
Yeah, the exposure happens. So here's what I'll tell you. Boil it down. So I've looked at thousands of resumes in my career. The ones that always stick out to me come down to 3 points and 3 points only. Companies, you have to start looking at why does this seat exist in the organization instead of, right, there's a backfill scenario, whatever it is. Why the seat exists, why that position was created in the first place in the organization is critical. So backwards engineer that. Why was your seat created? It was either created to make money to save money or to mitigate some sort of risk. And that's for any job that ever existed. So backwards engineer that through so how have you helped the company make money, save money, and mitigate a risk in every job that you've had, and deliver that succinctly in your resume, and that will catch the eye. This new product we launched made $50 million, and here's what I did particularly to that new product, and here's what we learned, and here's what, here were the technologies used. Put that in a succinct manner, and then follow that up with, hey, here's something that we implemented that helped save X amount of dollars from a manual process as we automated that, right? Mm-hmm. And here's the technologies we used. Spell it out in a succinct model. If it spills onto 2 or 3 or 4 pages, I don't care how long your career history is, just make it succinct and make it matter. The throwing a bunch of words in there and a bunch of technologies in there so that you show up on a search, that is noise. Frankly, when I represent someone, I blow it out of there with their consent. I say, hey, listen, this isn't a great representation of who you are. Although these technologies you may have touched, it's noise to the hiring manager. We're going to blow it out of there, and we're going to start with your education, your certifications, and then we're going to get deep into what you've done to help the company make money, save money, and mitigate a risk.
Yeah, straight to it. And so you work with a lot of hiring managers as well. How do you feel that resonates with them?
So hiring managers are inundated from, think about it, a technology hiring manager today is getting hit by SaaS vendors, infrastructure vendors, cybersecurity vendors, staffing vendors, right? Mm-hmm. They're getting hit by... Because
they're using more than one.
Yeah, so we have, and as source. You should. I think you should diversify your agency, you should diversify your tech stack, you should you should do all of those things. Mm-hmm. But if you boil it down to just their inbox activity, it becomes difficult for them to manage. So what I try to do is deliver the cultural fit with the technology fit as fast as I can, and not overfill their inbox, but certainly not give them a big enough sample set for whatever they ask me to do. Yeah. It's typically 3 to 5, and say these are the 3 or 5 best people that I think that I have found for your organization based on what you told me was important. I'm not going to send you 50. I'm not going to send you 2.
Yeah, that's a good approach, man. Well, thanks for stopping by, man. Absolutely. I think this has been incredibly valuable for job seekers out there that would like to get in touch with you or, get more information on Sony. How can they reach you?
Yeah, so on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is typically the best way. So it's Dave Birdwell, last name phonetic, Birdwell. You'll see Talent Architect. I've got a purple suit on, I think, with a purple tie. That's me. Click in there. SonyResources.com for more information.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you. You're the man.
Thanks for stopping by Barcode. Please introduce yourself and tell me who you're here representing.
Hey, Chris. So glad to be on the podcast and so happy to have you here. I'm Alyssa Gordon. I am the event chair for WiCys and also here with Comcast.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about the event that we're at now. This is the 2nd annual event. I was fortunate and lucky enough to be part of the 1st annual last year. So just, explain to the listeners a little bit about the event and what you guys are doing here today.
Sure. So our event is really all about bringing out employers and job seekers to explore careers in tech and cybersecurity, to help, different skill sets and skill levels figure out what's out there. What are the different career paths and job opportunities, and help them with career enhancement and advancement. So we've got resume review and mock interviews. Heard some really great feedback from the folks that did that. We also have headshots. So it's always really important to have a good professional headshot, as well as all of our employers. So we had over 20 employers here exhibiting their jobs and actually meeting good candidates right here on site at the event.
Yeah, having a networking event like this is so valuable, I think, to get that face time, especially when it's regional. You get to see a lot of the local representation from organizations here. You get to meet a lot of the local talent, and having it at a college too, you get a lot of the student.
Yeah, we had a lot of students come out.
Yeah.
So it's really nice that they can just walk over, check out, what's going on, explore different careers.
Yeah. And a lot of the feedback I get has all been positive. And again, just being able to network and talk to people and introduce them to recruiters here that can help them along the way, or even if they're not familiar with WiCys, just being able to get familiar with the organization as well. So can you talk to us a little bit about the organization itself?
Sure. So WiCys Delaware Valley is all about networking and mentoring, and really just a group coming together to collaborate and share their knowledge and help other women and also men. We've got a lot of male supporters as well. Just all foster these relationships and, help with that career advancement and enhancement.
A lot of great partners here.
Yeah, we've had a lot of, good partnerships, supporters over the years. Today we had, 250 people, register. So one of our biggest events ever. And it just goes to show, what we're doing in the community. We have a lot of great representation. We're really getting traction. And, people... we're helping a lot of people.
Definitely. And again, I want to thank you for including me in the event. It's been great just being able to see how far this career event specifically has come in just a year. So I thank you again and hope to be part of it continuing on.
Of course, you're a staple in this event. You're a stable supporter.
Definitely will support you in any way that I can. So before you run, I know you're busy. We're getting ready to shut down now. Can you just let our listeners know where they can find and connect with you online, and then also the WiCys organization?
Sure. So listeners are welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn, Alyssa Gordon. That's probably the best way. Send me a connection request or a message. I'm always happy to chat, with any job seekers or transitioners, people looking to get into the industry, just for advice or, for knowledge. My door is open, happy to help anybody. And then if you're looking to become a member of WiCys, we've got a really simple online form on our LinkedIn page. I would suggest that our listeners go to WiCys Delaware Valley LinkedIn page.
Okay.
Follow us. The membership form is right there. We post everything when it comes to upcoming events, industry trends. It's just a really good channel if you want to stay up to date with what's going on in the area.
Definitely. So thanks for stopping by, Alyssa. I appreciate it, and please continue doing the great things that you're doing here.
Thanks. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next time.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks again. Join us next time at Barcode, where we'll continue to explore the darkest and most adventurous corners of the world. Until then, enjoy your spirits and enjoy life.